Participant capacity for this conference has been exceeded. Goodbye.
I've lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, whether you like it or not. That's it. I got the microphone. I am taking control. Welcome, everybody. Happy Hump Day's Eve or Hump Day night or whatever the hell it is. We hope you're doing good. And by we, I don't mean just me. I'm talking about myself and, of course, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Happy Whack Job Wednesday.
Yeah. So it's 2020.
Yes.
And I don't know what I was thinking, because I was expecting to just have an election and just get a president out of the deal. And then I remembered, wait a minute, it's 2020. This is the way it's supposed to be. What the hell's wrong with this year? My God, is there anything else that can go absolutely stupid?
Oh, don't ask that question, because you know this is the portal.
Oh, my God. But I got to tell you, Don, I guess voter turnout was really, really good.
Oh, yeah? How good was that?
It was so good that apparently in Wisconsin, 101% of the voters showed up.
101%. That's kind of paranormal, isn't it?
I think that's a little paranormal.
Oh, we got zombies? What?
I don't know if they're raising the dead over there or what's going on exactly, but apparently 101%.
Wow.
I don't know if that's factual or not. I've just heard mumblings about things like that. And apparently other states have also logged over 100% of their voters. I don't know if that's true or not, but my God, it just sounds about perfect for this year.
Yes, it does.
God bless it. I feel like ramming my head into the wall. It's just like, God, wake me up when it's 2021. I just want to be done with this train wreck.
See,
Every year.
after January, February. Wake me up when February comes.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. It's the new Green Day song.
Exactly. Yes.
Wake me up when it's February. It's not quite as catchy.
That's not sketchy, but you know what?
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, it's just so much stupid going on this year. It's like, geez. I don't know. It's like Bizarro World, right? Like
It is, yeah. Everything's just backwards.
If you're not familiar with Bizarro World, it's the DC universe. Like there's Superman, and then there's like a dimension where everything's reversed. And like instead of being smart and handsome and all that, his version of Superman is called Bizarro, and he's like really he's a thick. He's just really he's really a thick, not very smart guy, and not very
Bizarro not
handsome.
know that.
Yeah, exactly. Talks like Tarzan, and same powers, but yeah. So we're in Bizarro World, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
It's absolutely batty and weird and funky, and I don't know what the hell. I don't know, man. I'm just beside myself with actually anxiety, believe it or not. This has just gotten me wound up to the point of near insanity. No, I mean, I've always been bordering
Near
on
insanity.
that.
Closer to insanity.
Yeah, I tell you, it's just craziness. I just wonder, when is this all going to start making sense again, ladies and gentlemen? And I don't mean to berate. I know you guys have been through this all day long. I've been through it all day long, just looking at what the hell's going on and scratching my skull and absolutely confused. But then I remembered it was 2020. I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense now. But anyway, this is the Paranormal Portal, and we are going to do our best to entertain you and take your mind off of all this stupidity for a while, or just show you a whole different batch of stupidity. And
I think that's more to the point.
We'll just give you a whole new batch of stupidity to work with, and you'll forget all about that other stupidity. So hopefully we'll do our jobs, and you'll feel thoroughly entertained and enjoy yourself just for a little bit anyway. That's all we can give you, but we'll give you all we got. Of course, throughout the duration of the show tonight, you can call in if you got something paranormal of your own to share. And you can do that by calling 720-923-0500. 720-923-0500. And you're welcome to share your paranormal thoughts with us. Right, Don?
Yes, sir. Wow, it's just a brain load.
It is a brain load. This is the portal, though, so we always have all kinds of weirdness going on. Yeah, apparently they are. Still counting, apparently. I don't know what the hell they're counting, but they apparently are finding new things to count all the time. So
didn't you just read something about the National Guard was called out to count?
Yeah. I think it's, it was like the National Guard was deployed to like 12 or 16 states, and all of those were suspected as locations for voter fraud, and now the National Guard is counting votes. Like, how many you got over there, Jimmy? I don't know, 6, 7. I'm working on it. Working on it, Sarge. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the National Guard's going to go out and count votes.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure that's not what they were deployed for. But that's like some kind of that conspiracy stuff that's floating around. I don't, as much as I'd love to think that
we should break out the 8-ball.
Oh yeah,
it's right there behind you.
Yeah, I may have to consult the Oracle at some point, but for now we'll just have a show as best as we know how, and hopefully have a good time doing it. So I hope you all are ready, because
we're going in.
It's a whole 2 hours of fantastic fun waiting for us on the other side of this. So hang on. We're back, and thank you for making us hungry, Haxer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That looks delicious, man.
The bacon and stuff, some olives, with bacon and olives and blue cheese for martinis. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
That's the stuff dreams are made of. It's good to have you back, brother. We've missed your temptations and your drinks that you always share with people. Very, very cool. But Don, who's here?
Who is here? Let's take a peek. Let me get over to this spot here. Now, of course, if you're not chatting, you're not going to get a shout out. So that's your fault. If you want a shout out,
say hello.
Say something now. I got Aaron, Annie M, Black Trees here. There's Cookie Chris Jarvis. Miss Elaine is here. Ethan, Great Lake Squatch, Hacker, of course. Isaac is here. Justin, our friend Justin, and Kirsten Lee. Lydia's here. Murray's here. Nessie Monster from New Zealand. Let's see. Portable Tree, Regular Girl, Salsalito Media. He called in last week, didn't he? Or the week before? Strangelands is here. Island Girl, that's a new name to me. Oh, there's Lou, the good dude, right there. Let's see. Okay, so Aussie Tiger popped in. Boots on the Ground with Barb is on. Hey, how are you? Oh, and there's the minion.
I see that. Me, Elijah.
There you go. Let's see. Long Island Bigfoot just popped in. Kylie Victoria and Puppy Two Bears.
And Regla's in there.
Oh, did I miss Regla? I'm sorry, Regla. Regla's an OG.
She's an OC.
Oh,
original chatter.
Oh, there you go. And you know what? Way down at the bottom, and I don't know why it's way down there, but Mr. Carlton, the Pharmacy Seed Network.
The farm is in the house.
There we go.
Otherwise known as the fabric softener for the portal. But so far, so good. So night, we're doing good. But those are mostly on network nights. We get those issues. But I hope you guys are all doing okay out there. I hope you guys are because, man, I can't believe this world, man. It's gone sideways, Don.
It certainly has.
All right, here's something interesting, and it's more scientific than paranormal, but I still think it's interesting. Oh, let me drag this over, and I'll just do the reading in front of you because I'm flexing.
Naysay just popped in, too.
Naysay, I got to give you a call sometime. Probably not tomorrow, but sometime soon. Anyway, okay, here we go. Here's an article I found, and this is from Engadget.com, which I think is not usually their kind of thing, but they said they found a pristine meteorite may provide clues to the origins of our solar system.
Bum, bum, bum.
It was found in a frozen lake after lighting up Michigan skies in 2018. There's a lot of things lighting up Michigan right now. Might as well be a meteorite. Meteorite that lit up the night sky in the U.S. Midwest in 2018 contains pristine organic compounds that may offer clues to how life formed on Earth. According to researchers via The Independent, it was spotted by motorists and others in several states after producing a fireball and a loud explosion on January 18th, 2018. Wow, January 18th, 2018. That's kind of cute. Thanks to some quick thinking and action, the rocks were quickly in the hands of researchers before they could be contaminated.
By the government. By the TTBS.
By little kids with dirty hands.
and mini Martians.
Yeah, exactly. Less than 2 days after it streaked across the sky, meteorite hunter Robert Ward found the first piece. I was like, Pierce, what? God, I need my glasses. Resting on the frozen surface of Strawberry Lake near Hamburg, Michigan. He was able to pinpoint the location by using NASA's weather radar, as the meteorite chunks were similar in size to hail. He quickly got it to the Field Museum in Chicago, where curator Philip Heck quickly set about studying it. Lots of quicklies.
Yes.
This meteorite is special because it fell into a frozen lake and was recovered quickly. It was very pristine. We could see the minerals weren't altered that much, and later found that it contained rich inventory of extraterrestrial organic compounds, Heck said in a statement. These kinds of organic compounds were likely delivered to the early Earth by meteorites and might have contributed to the ingredients of life. It's like God's shaker up there. Yeah.
Yeah, God's shaker.
Careful, that could be the jerks.
Oh, gosh.
The Far Side cartoon. That was hilarious.
Oh, no.
And just to make it interesting, he's got a shaker full of jerks.
Of course, you and your hand motions.
Oh, Jesus, stop. I hope that was off camera.
You're the one who did it.
I know. I'm just hoping it was off camera. I don't function that way. I have this innocence, and you have this corruption done.
It's all my fault.
It is today. The researchers determined it was a rare H4 chondrite meteorite, representing only 4% of those found on Earth. The initial analysis determined that it contained over 2,600 separate organic compounds that were still intact despite the intense heat created when it blazed through the atmosphere. They also found that it likely broke off into 12 million years ago from its parent asteroid, which formed 4.5 billion years earlier.
Wow.
A lot of scientists were able to probe the rock using different techniques. He said probe. Yeah, probe. Sorry, it was funny to me.
Oh, boy.
Using different techniques. So we have an unusually comprehensive set of data for a single meteorite, said Heck. While the meteorite was as clean as one that lands on Earth can be, scientists are especially anxious to get their hands on a truly pristine specimen from the source, space. That's scheduled to happen in 2023 when NASA spacecraft OSIRIS-REx is set to return to Earth after it successfully grabbed and stowed a chunk of regolith. That's regolith, I guess. Okay, from the asteroid Bennu.
Yeah, that was the you
that landed
talked about
on
it
it
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
So I guess it's on its way back. It'll be here in a couple of years, like my pizza from down. No, I'm just kidding. I always get good service here, but it was funny in my head.
Oh boy.
So there you go. That's some I like that kind of stuff because it's like unlocking those puzzles.
Yes.
How did this all come to be? Now I don't mean to combat or compete with some people's creationist ideas and stuff like that. I mean I believe that we are. There's a reason to this. There's a reason for this. And I believe in the whole divine intelligence and such. So don't get me wrong, but perhaps there is a scientific method to achieve what the divine intelligence set forth. So I don't know. You can't have it all or nothing. There's ways to look at it that can be both.
Yep.
I think so anyway. So anyway, let's get to the next bucket of fun here on the Paranormal Portal.
I'm sorry, did you say fun or chum?
Fun. I said fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just clarifying.
Chum as in friend, like Batman. How you doing, chum? Or what are you doing?
Chum like in a
Chum in the water?
bucket that you chum the water with.
Chum for sharks. No, we've done pretty good avoiding sharks.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Hacker just said, yeah, I'm so planning on sending these guys some bourbon-soaked cherries with barreled cream for Xmas.
Oh
We
my
missed
God.
you last year, by the way.
We always
We
miss
missed you, and we talked about you, and
I'm thinking you should sell that barreled cream, brother.
Dreaming of some barrel cream.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you may or may not know about our good friend Mr. Haxer is that he is
He likes to see
he
us drunk.
is he gets a kick out of watching us drink, but he is actually like the Nikola Tesla of the bar arts of
mixology.
of the mixology. He is
Mixology.
this man could mix you up anything. Now he makes some of his own mixes, and Don and I had the rare privilege of sampling the barreled cream, and I'm here to tell you that stuff was so freaking good. Oh my God. And you could make a killing selling that stuff, brother.
He says bartenders should not use power tools. Yeah, he's still putting together. What is it? What was it? It was Corners and what was the name of this place? I forgot.
Oh yeah, cocktails and corners.
And Corners. Yeah.
Yep. Good deal. I'm glad that that ball is still rolling.
Absolutely.
This is a man that deserves his own setup. I mean, he's a very, very talented man. So if you have a question about any of the mixology, that's the man you want to talk to.
There you go.
So he's a longtime friend of the show. We're glad to have you back, brother.
Yep.
So let's continue here. This one is again having to do with the sciencey stuff. But I found this interesting because, we often hear the discussion, well, there might be 16,000 planets out there that have life, or there might be, whatever. Well, there's some new information out there that I think is pretty encouraging. And I like this version a lot better. What in the hell happened? Oh, don't give me ads and stuff. What is that doing, Don? How do I get rid of that? I'm clicking the corners.
Submit your address. No, don't do that.
No. What's your address, Don? Let's get this over with. All right, here we go. Smedley at hankbait.com. Smedley at
Island Girl, thank you.
Bait.
No, you know what? You said, Island Girl, you said you're not regular, you're not new. Yes, I remember now. So there you go.
All right. I got 3 free articles left from the nationalgeographic.com. I didn't know I was on the I didn't know I was on the ration plan here.
The ration plan?
Yeah, they're rationing me articles at National Geographic.
Ah.
It says you have 3 free articles left this month. Well, no, 'cause Smedley's got 3. And I can come up with a whole lot more names than that. No, I'm just kidding.
Schmeagle.
I'm going to close that. All right, so this has to do with a new idea that's out there, that there could be a hell of a lot more Earth-like planets.
You think?
How many alien civilizations are out there? A new galactic survey holds a clue. The Milky Way is full of habitable real estates, with roughly half of all sun-like stars hosting Earth-sized worlds that could be friendly to life.
I wonder if that's where they got the the last 101% in Michigan.
Maybe they could have.
Long distance.
Well, I did capture an image of one of their voters, and that's on the promo tile for tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Interdimensional.
Yeah, here's a good sign for alien hunters. More than 300 million worlds with similar conditions to Earth are scattered throughout the Milky Way galaxy. A new analysis concludes that roughly half the galaxy's sun-like stars host rocky worlds in habitable zones where liquid water could pool or flow over the planet's surfaces. This is the science result we've all been waiting for, said Natalie Badala, an astronomer with the University of California, Santa Cruz, who worked on the new study. The finding, which has been accepted for publication in the Astronomical Journal, pins down a crucial number in the Drake equation devised by my father, Frank Drake, in 1961. Wow. This is apparently written by the child of Frank Drake. Cool. Oh. The equation sets up the framework for calculating the number of detectable civilizations in the Milky Way.
Wow.
Now, the first few variables in the formula, including the rate of sun-like star formation, the fraction of those stars with planets, and the number of habitable worlds per stellar system, are known. The number of sun-like worlds with worlds similar to Earth could have been 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 1,000,000. Nobody really knew, said Seth Shostak. Wow, sounds alien. Seth Shostak. Or an action hero. An astronomer at the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI for short, Institute, who was not involved with the new study. Astronomers estimate the number of these planets using data from NASA's planet-hunting Kepler spacecraft. For 9 years, Kepler stared at the stars and watched for the brief twinkles produced when orbiting planets blot out the portion of their star's light. By the end of its mission in 2018, Kepler had spotted some 2,800 exoplanets, many of them nothing like the worlds orbiting our sun. But Kepler's primary goal was always to determine how common planets like Earth are, how common Earth-like planets are. The calculation required help from the European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft, which monitors stars across the galaxy. With Gaia's observations in hand, scientists were finally able to determine that the Milky Way is populated by hundreds of millions of Earth-sized planets orbiting sun-like stars, and that the nearest one is probably within 20 light years of the solar system. Wow, so that's a lot bigger number.
Yeah.
At least of potentially habitable planets.
Yep.
And I guess I should say this too. Thank you. Who was it that did that? Island Girl. That was so nice. Hi, everyone. I'm not new. Been a fan from the beginning, but I work nights. That make me miss the lives. Brent knows me. We've shared cocktails, and he even met one of my dogs. Yes, I did. Karen, yeah, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. We are absolutely thrilled you're here, and thank you so much for your kindness. So let me continue here. But Kepler's primary goal was always to determine how... Oh, I already read that one. Never mind. Inching closer to contact. The Drake equation uses 7 variables to estimate the number of detectable civilizations in the Milky Way. It considers factors such as the fraction of sun-like stars with planetary systems and the number of habitable planets in each of these systems. From there, it considers how often life evolves on worlds with the right conditions and how often these life forms ultimately develop detectable technologies. In its original form, the equation assumes that technologically savvy aliens would evolve on planets orbiting sun-like stars. When astronomers talk about finding these planets, everyone's really talking about the Drake equation, right? Says Jason Wright, an astronomer of Pennsylvania State University, who studies potentially habitable worlds, but did not participate in the new study. We all have that in mind when we're doing this calculation. It took more than half a century for scientists to start pinning down how many planets could feasibly host life. In 1961, astronomers knew of no worlds orbiting stars other than the sun, and although planetary formation theories suggest exoplanets should be common, we had no observational evidence that they existed, but over the past decade it's become clear that planets are extremely common. Outnumbering the stars in the Milky Way, on average, nearly every star is home to at least one orbiting world. That realization was a really big step forward, Wright says. That's what told us there were many sites for life as we know it to have potentially arisen. But the next factor in the Drake equation, the number of habitable worlds per planetary system, was trickier to calculate, Batala says. Kepler spots faraway worlds by looking for dips of light This might be a little exhaustive to read all of, but it sounds like there's a lot.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of potentially life hosting planets out there, which is good. I think that's wonderful. And I don't know that, I don't know that they all have, potentially life as we understand it, or
Right.
even life that we would recognize.
Right.
Maybe it's developed differently. I don't know.
And it depends, how much water is on the planet, and
Yeah.
how much actual dry land and such like that, I would imagine.
Sure.
But, anything other than a carbon-based life form, that would be totally weird.
That'd be weird, and I don't know if would we recognize it.
Yeah. That's a
I
good
mean, just
question.
think about it, though. I mean, when you think about this planet, we do recognize that things like plants are alive,
Mhm.
but we only seem to acknowledge that they are organizations of
Right.
of cells that's create this system that can survive. But as research continues, they have kind of established a consciousness to these plants.
Right.
That they are aware. They know what's going on around them. I mean, you can watch these sped up videos of like these predatory type plants, like the viney things,
Right.
and how they're just whipping their vines around, and they hit something, and it's sort of whap, it's like Spider-Man's web,
Right.
and then they grab it, and then they outgrow it, and they kill it, and it's just there is a complex system that plants are a part of, and again, getting back to studies regarding are they aware of what's going on around them? They, even MythBusters did a video about this where they thought that was all bunk, and they were able to prove definitely that not only did plants recognize people that walked in the room,
Right.
but they reacted accordingly, and
Right.
and that comes in the form of one person being really nice, and how the plants seemed very serene when that person entered the room, being really nice over a period of time. And another guy came in and just bashed all the plants, within a certain area.
Right.
And every time he came into the room, those plants registered a fear response.
Huh.
They recognized that he was there. And that's complex, reasoning going on there. It's not just like water, sun,
Right.
sun, turn leaves, sun. It's like they apparently have an awareness. So that's really cool. But it also makes me feel bad every time I mow the lawn.
Yeah, no doubt. What was the name of that movie where it was like Marky Mark, and like the plants were killing people, releasing like poisonous spores?
The Happening.
Was that what it was called?
Yeah, The Happening, I think.
That'd be kind of scary.
That was, yeah. Yep.
Oh,
That was
goodness.
creepy stuff. But, I guess, so be nice to your plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't need to recreate The Happening.
Wouldn't that be crazy if you went to your garden one day and picked a tomato and just ate it and just dropped dead?
That'd be really creepy, like if they suddenly turn toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. That's
Yeah.
that's creepy thought.
And then the
Don.
dog comes by and grabs the tomato and munches on it and walks
A
away.
dog?
Yeah. I was like, oh, what the hell?
Say hello
What's
to your,
that about?
say hello to my new friend.
My new friend,
Yeah,
Rova.
I tell you, I don't know. That's kind of creepy though, because that's the other side of it. Could they
Yeah.
develop that kind of awareness? Like, those guys always tear me apart. Screw that. You got a bunch of like lethal raspberries everywhere all of a sudden.
So, don't eat the raspberries.
Ladies and gentlemen, newsflash: do not eat raspberries ever. Yeah,
There's some bad raspberries going around.
you can only eat jams dated before 2020. If it was going to happen, ladies
No
and gentlemen,
kidding.
it would be this year. This is the year that plants would turn toxic to
Gee,
us.
thanks, Ellie. Thanks for your raspberry jam. What year did you make it? Oh, it was just this year. It's brand new. You mean 2020? Yeah, dirty.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, just like down the toilet. Yeah.
Flush.
I don't know. I guess that kind of stuff is certainly plausible. If they know when somebody's coming into the room beating the hell out of them,
Right.
could they develop toxins?
Absolutely. Well, why don't you ask our friend Carlton, who just happens to be on the phone?
Oh, we hit a Carlton trigger.
Yup. I saw the warning. Are you waiting for a phone call? Like, might as well.
Let's talk to Carlton and see what his take on all this is. How you doing, brother?
You knew you triggered me, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it was a pretty safe bet.
Pretty safe bet. Yeah. Hey, there's a documentary from 1979 called what is it called? The Consciousness of Plants.
Okay.
I think. Anyway, it's an old documentary from '79. Excellent analysis of plant consciousness. There was a guy, I forget what he did for a living, but he did something else where he was using EKGs and oscilloscopes for a living, and he had a plant in his office, and he started hooking the EKG up to it and watching its response to him. And then he did some really cool experiments with actually taking baby shrimp and dumping them into boiling water in a room near the plant, and the plant actually detected it. And then he did it where he'd remove the plant from the shrimp by, I forget, like a mile or two or something. It was like quite a distance, and it still had the same response. So it could actually pick it up through the morphogenic field, or whatever you call that other ethereal sort of communication.
Wow.
And there's also some interesting TED Talks on YouTube about plant consciousness. One, the guy took a mimosa plant and a Venus flytrap, and he hooked the mimosa to the Venus flytrap with a wire, so he could, I don't know if you know what a mimosa is, but if you touch that plant, it'll droop, and then it'll stand back up. Pretty instantaneous response.
Yeah.
Really cool plant. But he hooked it up to the Venus flytrap, and he got the Venus flytrap to close its trap whenever he touched the mimosa. So,
but that's more of a sensory kind of thing rather than an intelligence, yeah?
Yeah, that experiment definitely is. But the other one, the consciousness one, there was the other experiment they did was, I think, the one you were just talking about in Russia, where they actually had different people go in and some chop plants up and some talk to them, and then they had those people go back through the room later on, and the plants responded to the person like immediately.
Yeah.
So,
like, and I think it was on one of those TED Talks that there was a guy summarizing these basic kind of findings. He's like, if you look, plants don't have eyes, but the cells that are on the surface of plants are very much like the ones in our eyes. And it's like, so they could be seeing us,
Yes.
Wow. That's
yes, and actually all the cells in our body respond directly to light, if nothing else, not necessarily through the cell itself, but the mitochondria in each cell, which is the energy production plant of each cell, responds to light. And that's why, that's a big part of this health issue that we have today with this artificial lighting and all this blue light from monitors and phones and stuff. So it's a whole interesting field of study, and it ties into energy and plants and health and all that. But you triggered me. I had to throw down a couple cents for you.
Well, we appreciate it. You came in and represented as usual, brother. So thank you. Appreciate you being a part of the conversation.
Always love you guys. Keep on the great work.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, though.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary. Paisley popped in a second ago and said, "Yeah, it was called The Happening." And it makes you wonder. Is that a conscious effort from, say, Mother Earth or whatnot to cleanse the earth and things like that. I don't see why it wouldn't be somehow plausible. Yeah. But I mean, it would be unfathomable. That's for sure. I mean, we already have poisonous things out there that'll kill you if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So, it could a formerly, benign or good tasting plant all of a sudden become toxic to someone? Yeah, it happens. It does happen because people are. People there. I've read somewhere, I can't remember. It's been forever ago, that people who chewed or smoked tobacco, they get cancer.
Oh,
so think about it that way.
Sure.
I mean, we know that in small amounts or moderation, it might be safe, but depending on your consumption. May not be so good. Nightshades, as a matter of fact, all potatoes and tomatoes and things like that, they're all nightshades. They're not actually very good for you in large amounts. So
that's what I've heard. Yeah. I've heard about the nightshade thing. And stay away from nightshades. They promote swelling. Not the good kind either.
Oh God. I'm gonna need a Motrin here shortly.
I'm here all night, ladies and gentlemen, and it doesn't get much better than this, but I promise it's like this. So if you're having fun, stick around. It's just going to continue to be fun. We do have another call, and this looks like it is from area code 330. You're on the air.
How you doing? It is I.
Hi, it is I. How are you?
It is I. No, it's
Hey, you never picked out a sticker yet.
D.
Yes, I know. I know it's you.
Oh, I didn't.
No, you got to go over to that. Go over to our.
Hey, Brent, are you available for?
I'm
You
sorry.
available for bar mitzvahs and birthday parties?
No, I'm sorry. His schedule's pretty full with shows. But thank you for the offer.
Okay.
So how you doing tonight?
Just wondering, because I was just gonna pass it on just in case. But I wanted to tell a quick story that I even said a little bit about it on my stream. I had a plant. Yeah, plants really seem to know that we're doing things. I mean, I have plants sitting on my counters right now that shouldn't be able to grow where they are because there's not really enough light, but they are because they're growing near me. It's weird.
Right.
It's like people have noticed this. There's not really enough light to grow where they're growing.
Wow.
And I had a plant when I first moved in to my old place. It was like the only green I had, and I moved it. I put it near my in my bathroom window, so it could get some light. But right next to the stall where I showered, and this thing was one of those viney things with a heart-shaped leaves,
Oh,
and
nice.
it sent a vine over to where I was showering, so that it could touch me while I was showering. It was kind of a
Well, that's a little
a
creepy.
creeper plant, I guess.
Yeah, a creepy creeper plant.
Yeah, that's a little bizarre.
No,
But I think you're right. I think that they
it was
do.
just,
They do resonate with
Yeah.
people. Yeah. Some people have green thumbs and they cannot do anything wrong. And then there's the other people, try as hard as they might. They can't get anything to grow.
Yup.
and this is the really weird thing is that in the spring, I had that plant all winter, and it just kept wanting to grow over. Its stuff went over by me instead of all over by the window. So, and I'm standing there, and I get in the shower one day, and I look over right around Valentine's Day on that one that was aimed at me, that was always touching me when I showered. It was all pink. It was pink. It turned pink.
Wow.
It was not a pink leaf.
That doesn't
I'm
surprise
like,
me coming from you. It doesn't surprise me coming from you, D, because you seem to attract a lot of bizarre, but in a good way. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean, you have a very eclectic energy field.
Well, yeah. I agree. I'm a strange attractor, I guess. You read about strange attractors, I guess I am one.
Yeah, I think so.
But then again, I feel I'm in good company here, though.
You sure are. I mean, we're all strange here, but that's why we love each other. We're all weird.
We love weird here.
Yep.
We appreciate weird because we know that weird meets magic, right?
That's what I believe. Yeah.
W-Y-R-D.
Yep.
It means magic. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to say is that, my experience with plants is that, and my grapevines and my plants in my yard. I walked out one time. I couldn't figure out what the plant was. I had planted all kinds of herbs, and tarragon is a plant you usually have to bend over to pick.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what this plant was, and it was like about 7 feet tall.
Oh, geez.
And when I smelled the leaves, it was tarragon. I'm like, what the heck is this 7 foot tall thing? Is this Day of the Triffids or something? Is this a B movie? Is this become half true? But no, really, my yard was crazy that way. It was like a little postage stamp yard in a city. But I had huge herbs, and my roses were like, we had roses all over the place. And
Nice.
the bees took care of everything. I had a good relationship with the bees, and
Good.
they took care of a lot of stuff for me. So anyway, plants can change. Can they go the opposite way? I bet they could. Maybe that's why we do have some poison plants now.
Yep.
Is they developed that way for a reason. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. See ya.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Chat.
All right. So now that makes me just wonder, what is the possibility? Of course, we often attribute things like celiac disease to the Roundup that's used to make the wheat die. But what if that's wheat going, no, hell with this?
Yes, yeah.
What if that's wheat paying us back and going, no, I hope you enjoy this new batch.
Here you go, suckers.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, because there's peanut allergies that all these allergies just popped up, and it's like, why? Why are they? I do believe it's more than likely chemical, but what if? What if it wasn't? What if it was kind of by design?
It was a response.
Right.
Yeah.
Because those are, those are pretty heavily harvested, obviously. So I don't know. Something to think about. I really don't believe that that's the case, but it is kind of curious, and you got to wonder if that's like, for instance, the more people having allergies.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we probably have more people with allergies than ever before, but maybe I'm absolutely wrong. But what if that's part of that shift? Hey, thanks for all that chemicals and stuff in my soil. Here you go.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay, well,
Craziness.
just stuff to think about. I know it's just, that's the weirdness of the show too. The show kind of writes itself. It does.
Right.
This stuff just kind of comes up. There's no way to plot these courses, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of plot, somebody in the chat just reminded us that tomorrow is November 5th. Remember the 5th of November.
Okay, because why?
Because so what was November 5th in Britain? It's Guy Fawkes Day.
Oh,
so here we are. So
after
the day
election,
after the election,
yeah.
What's going to happen on the 5th of November? It is just speculation.
Wow,
that's a good point. Yeah,
that is
the gunpowder treason and plot.
Oy,
yeah,
that's curiosity, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Just be careful. God.
Yeah, no doubt.
And don't get us demonetized. Now, a lot of you Bigfoot enthusiasts, and I heard about this as well. There's a gentleman that's an award-winning taxidermist, and he took it upon himself as his newest mount to do. He was going to recreate Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, and to do it, lifelike and wonderful. And there is a documentary about it. I wanted to touch on this. I don't know how long this article is, but I at least wanted to touch on it because I would love to see this final version that he did. But he made the mount and the form based on the PG film, measured it all out, got it all scaled appropriately, and he went to work recreating Patty. Obviously, they didn't have a Bigfoot, skin, but they seem to have done a hell of a job duplicating it. And this is coming from thepitchkc.com. Local director Dan Wayne discusses his Bigfoot taxidermy documentary. When it comes to the art of taxidermy, the creator's goal is to generally make a preserved animal seem as lifelike as it was when it was really alive. But what do you do when the creature you're mounting hasn't been conclusively proven to exist? Kansas City filmmaker Dan Wayne explores that question in his new documentary, Big Fur. And I've seen clips of this, and it really does look good. Now, I'm not always very excited by taxidermy, but I would love to see this because it's a chance to be as close to a Bigfoot without any danger as you're ever going to have. So he says, which documents world champion Canadian taxidermist Ken Walker's quest to build an 8-foot tall Bigfoot replica named Patty from styrofoam and animal skins. I'd been following some taxidermists with the idea of making a movie that's character driven and was kind of at the top of the list, says Wayne, who was working on his first documentary feature after years of collaboration with another local director, George Langworthy. Walker told me that he was going to make a Bigfoot, and that's when I knew I'd found a movie. Even more than it touches on the art form of taxidermy or unveils the mythology of Bigfoot, Big Fur serves as a delightful, quirky portrait of Walker himself, a fervent Bigfoot truther who delights in recreating extinct and endangered animal species and recounting his former days as a professional Roy Orbison impersonator.
Wow.
There you go. As the documentary unfolds, the taxidermist's dedication to finishing his cryptid becomes much more certain than the trajectory of his own life. which is turned upside down on screen when he begins a short-lived affair with his friend and former mentee, Amy Carter, and balances his talent with his ability to meet the monthly mortgage. But even as Big Fur juggles these storylines, it all comes together thanks to its deadpan charm and an arguably one-of-a-kind protagonist. We spoke to Wayne about capturing Walker's persona, what it's like to own a Sasquatch in his living room, and more. And you can kind of see a profile there. Obviously, he did a hell of a lot of work. The pitch, Big Fur focuses on both Ken's approach to taxidermy as an art form. Oh, that's what I already read in that other paragraph. Well, it's kind of tough as far as capturing Walker. He said it helps that Ken is funny and he doesn't take himself too seriously. But I was always struggling to make sure that I wasn't making fun of him. So that was the kind of the fine line, editing-wise. My initial goal was to make people appreciate taxidermy as a legitimate art form. And I think it's successful in that way because I really started practicing taxidermy at about the same time that I started hanging out with him. I also learned a ton from him. He's really happy with the film, which helps. So, I don't know. I just wanted to pan through some of this, but
Wow.
it's just really kind of cool. I haven't seen the final Bigfoot. I don't know if it's available to be seen anywhere because they really did a good job keeping the final version locked down, so you didn't really see it, but you see pieces and parts of it. But I really do want to see this documentary because it just sounds absolutely interesting.
Yeah.
And what a neat thing to bring to life Patty in that one frame or whatever from the film. Or I don't know, I think it's modeled exactly after that, but maybe not, because judging by this hand up here, I don't know when her hand was up like that. It just was a striding motion.
Does it have boobies?
I think it does. I don't know, though. You know what's interesting is
What?
that, yeah, it looks like it does on this form.
Oh,
You
okay.
did make the breast is...
Well, that's all we were interested in.
What's interesting, though, is I heard a scientist speak, and he's like, it may not be that easy to sex a Bigfoot as far... Oh, that didn't sound right at all. Let me rephrase that.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Apparently, they don't appreciate it much. No, to determine the gender of a Bigfoot, because in primate species outside of humans, no other primate maintains the breasts unless it's actually nursing little ones. So they may look very man-like otherwise, and I guess the only other option is, of course, to catch the lower genitalia, which apparently isn't much of a problem for those that have seen it. I don't know. But if it's in motion and stuff, you
Oh my God, he's a whale.
I'm just saying, I don't think. Yeah. Gosh, hung like a rhino, Jesus. But I think that is something important to take in mind, because if you see it, no breast, oh, that's a male. Well, you might be wrong, because
Right.
it might just not currently have any or have weaned its offspring already.
Right.
So interesting point to put it out there. I don't know.
Weird.
But I would like to see this, and if anybody's seen it, let me know how it was. Again, that's called Big Fur, and it's out there somewhere. I'm not even sure we can watch it if it's on Prime or somewhere else, or if it's...
Have to check it out.
Yeah, exactly. But interesting, nonetheless. This guy is... I saw his other work that they showcased, and showed little angles like this. He's working on something you can't quite see, but you can see the ear and how close that is to the head.
What is that behind right there? That looks like the Yeti from
Probably a polar bear.
the Rudolph. Yes, exactly. Rudolph. That's exactly what I was thinking.
No, well, you never know. I mean,
And then if you scroll down, that hand that they show right there, that does look like the hand of the Yeti from Rudolph.
yeah, but it's very interesting, right? I don't know.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. I'm not even getting started yet. From the same movie. It's like, wow, your intellect is truly baffling. I'm not even getting started yet.
You do that so well.
I know.
Can you cack one over here? Cack. I was freaking out.
Yeah, it is out. Gone. That's it. Well, there you go. That's another thing I wanted to bring to the table, because it's, our table. I thought it'd be fun. Hope you enjoyed that little clip of interesting
Yes.
Bigfoot world. And it's kind of a very, it's not glorifying or glamorizing the Bigfoot world necessarily, but I would love to see that final product for sure.
Apparently, he's doing. It sounds like people are gonna like it. They're gonna like the bringing to life the actual. As fast as much as it can.
Yeah, exactly. It would be cool. How's our chat doing? Everybody having a good night?
Oh yeah, they're good.
Good.
They're good.
Okay. Well, let's see where we're going now, because there's more.
There's more.
But wait, there's more. Here's a weird one.
And that's different from what other day?
Well, it's just on course. We're just on course.
Yeah.
Is my point. But I never, I don't know. I saw this headline. I'm like, I got to read that in the show. I have no idea what it says.
You're going to read this.
I'm just kind of curious. It's one of those things. It's like, I got to see now.
Notice he's used the word curious.
Yeah. Not that way. Not in that way, Don. Yeah, that path is very well set and established in my life.
Not very well trod, you mean, right?
Well, it depends. I don't know, Don.
Oh, God. Too much. Oh, mental floss.
All right, here we go. This is from animalien.com, and it has to do with a woman unable to get pregnant. Turned out to be a man. Turned out to be a man. Wow. How do you not know? Let's see what it says, though. I could be really prematurely misjudging this person, but it sounds like you should probably already have an idea. But 30-year-old resident of India who went to the doctor with abdominal pains was diagnosed with a rare congenital disease and found out that she had a male sex chromosome set XY. This was reported by PTI, which I have no idea what that is. Doctors found that the patient suffers from androgen insensitivity syndrome, or Morris syndrome. People with this disease look like women, but genetically are men. The woman has been married for 9 years with her husband. They tried several times to conceive a child, but to no avail. The patient lacked a uterus and ovaries. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Never had menstruation, and abdominal pain was a symptom of testicular cancer, doctors said.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Judging by her appearance, this is a woman. Starting with the voice, developed breast, and a normal external genitalia, commented oncologist Anupan Datta. He explained that the testes did not synthesize testosterone, as they remained undeveloped inside of the body, and female sex hormones did not allow her to acquire a masculine appearance. Now the patient is undergoing chemotherapy. It turned out that her 28-year-old sister, as well as 2 maternal aunts, also suffer from Morris syndrome.
Wow.
So they're not really hermaphrodites, but...
No, yeah, they're just...
That's strange.
So, because basically the testes didn't drop and were underdeveloped, the testosterone wasn't able to flow as opposed to the estrogenic hormones. And wow.
But they had breasts. I mean,
that's because they have more estrogen than testosterone.
Yeah.
Well, women have testosterone too. They just don't have it in large amounts in a normal setting or a normal way, I guess. So wow.
Yeah, this is one of those I couldn't have imagined. But yeah, apparently it wasn't like she was trying to pull a fast one. She just never knew. This was never diagnosed. But wow. That's crazy.
That just points to the strangeness of the world that we're talking about. Whether it be the plants or the animals or people.
Or the election.
Yeah, or
2020 in general.
2020 in general, yeah. So, it just speaks to the weirdness of our world, and nature can do some weird, wacky stuff, and it's just weird.
It is strange. That's bizarre. I don't know. I do feel bad for that person, and I don't know. The headline was funny, so that's why I went there. But now I just feel sad for that person. Going, wait, I'm not a what? Yeah.
Yeah, craziness.
And and her husband must be going.
And to find out that the abdominal pain is actually testicular cancer.
Oh, I know. So it's like it's like 2 uppercuts and a quick left.
Just a swing to the gut.
Yeah.
Good shot.
Man.
Wow.
That's a tough road, but I hope everything turns out okay. Obviously, that's a strange one. Not normal. Wait, this is the name. Etteri Terry Mizalan?
Terry.
Terry. Etteri Terry?
Terry.
A Terry?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that's a new name though, right?
Been around a couple times.
Okay.
I've seen. I think they visited Paisley Show once or twice too.
Very
as well.
cool. Very cool.
I don't remember.
Well, good to see you, and good to see everybody here. Always excited to see that bunches of you are here with us. It makes me feel so much more just happy. It gives me those happy feelings, Don.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I get them once in a while. I get those happy feelings once in a while.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Puzzle, not pizzle. Gotcha.
Now there's more mysterious sounds coming out of China.
Mysterious sounds.
Mysterious sounds, Don. Much like everything you hear on the Paranormal Portal. It's full of mysterious sounds.
What was that?
I don't know. Well, this was a big phenomenon, of course, a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was.
2018 was like the weird sound year for sure. It was like the trumpets being sounded by the angelic host. And I'm sure most of you or all of you are familiar with those weird recordings where people are standing outside of their house and it sounds like, really weird. And our very own Ken Rodman, he recorded a few of them down in Australia.
Right. Yep.
So he had some weird sounds coming out down there. And I don't know. Are they coming again? Well, let's see. This is from actually July of this year. Mysterious sound coming out of Wening, Guizhou in China. July 4th, 2020, a mysterious sound has lasted more than 10 days now in Wening, Guizhou, China. People used drones to try to find out the source without success, reports UFO sightings hotspot.blogspot.com. Experts sent to investigate but failed to give any explanations, only asking people not to panic and go back to their normal lives. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Move along.
It's a South Park kind of response. According to a number of people who commented on Jeffiner? What the hell? Jeffiner? Is that a bad spelling of Jennifer? Jeffiner, it's spelled. Zeng's Twitter account. It sounds really like blowing a whistle or a horn, a sound produced when the flow of air is obstructed and forced through a small opening. They're really going to break down a horn for us?
Yeah. Wow.
Is that how those whistles work?
I thought it was music theory.
Through a small opening, it makes sense, as Guizhou is a place famous for its karst landform, which is characterized by underground drainage systems with sinkholes and caves.
Fun.
Although local people tend to mystify things that are natural, they would know the difference between the sounds of an underground drainage system with sinkholes makes and whatever this is. There is a link here. I don't know if it's going to work. Video is unavailable, so I can't. Maybe this one will work. A flow of air being forced through a small opening would be a common activity and not worth the times of tens of people. That's quite a booming population. You're going to anger the tens of people that live here. But the mere gathering of people speaks to that sound is not something natural. Yeah, we're going to play this. All right, you ready?
Yeah, sure. Ouch.
I got to let the sound go. I hear the woo, woo.
That sounds like my jug.
Which one?
Oh boy.
Sorry. I can't help it, folks.
Oh boy.
That doesn't sound
No.
as remarkable
No.
as what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That to me, I mean, it could be somebody sitting behind the camera going, "Woo!" But apparently it has been checked out. It is a real phenomenon, but what is it? Nobody seems to know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
The trouble knows. The troubles I have seen.
Ancient magic diploma course.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's what it says right here. You can get a diploma in ancient magic. Wow.
Yeah,
Only
there you go.
29 GPP
Okay.
pounds, British pounds.
29 pounds. Gotcha. But anyway, there's strange sounds apparently coming out again. I don't know if they're continuing. Like, that was a big widespread phenomena back in the 2018, but then it just kind of faded away and people quit talking about it. So is that still happening out there? I don't know.
Taco says space alien ship deer whistles.
There'd be a limo coming by with a bunch of bearded guys going, "Hey, where's the fishing?"
Hey, thought I heard it still blowing up.
Duck Dynasty. Yeah,
boy.
that's where I was heading. But let's see. That's all that article has to say, ladies and
Well, there you
gentlemen.
go.
Just some weird sounds.
It's weird sounds, yeah.
I'm just checking to see if there's anything worth note before we move on, as I'm scanning these pages quickly.
Oh no, Nessie. Oh gosh.
What? Oh, do I
Nothing.
want to know?
No, I'll
Okay.
just leave that one alone.
All right. Family friendly. Remember that?
Yep.
Family friendly.
Ancient magic courses offered.
Oh, wait. No, here's.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
look that
ancient
up.
magic. Yeah.
Sorry.
Why is this not working? There we go. I want to see this one because, oh, it already made a new window for me. That was nice.
Nice.
I want to put this one on the screen because it has to do with a vintage UFO.
What the hell is a vintage UFO? What
I don't know.
Is there a postmodern?
Yeah. This is the newest model. But we have over here the vintage for much more affordable
This is
price.
the Bob Lazar.
Yeah, the Bob Lazar. A vintage UFO flew over a Polish village. A local resident managed to capture it.
I think they mean on film.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah. Yeah. One of those little action figure size
Yeah,
ones.
exactly.
A resident in one of the Polish villages some time ago noticed an incomprehensible object that flew so low above the forest that it touched the branches.
Wow.
He was able to take some photographs before the objects disappeared from view. Recently, these images came to the ufologist Philip Mantle. He's sure that the photographs are genuine and a real object is visible on them. In the pictures, there's a strange object that flies low over the wooded area. Excuse me. Moreover, the object has a different position on all published photos, which is confirmed by the fact that it was shot during the movement. Mantle added that the photo was taken by a resident of Poland who did not consider it necessary to introduce himself. He cycled past a forest near the village of Jastrowo, which is located near Warsaw. Suddenly, a man heard a strange sound and saw a spinning object flying in the sky. The rustling arose when the UFO touched the branches of the trees. The UFO did not resemble a drone or similar other flying mechanism known to mankind. The man felt it was necessary to transfer the pictures to ufologists. He sent them to Robert Branatovich, and he soon transferred them to Philip Mantle. Pictures were repeatedly and carefully checked for the presence of Photoshop, but nothing of the kind was found. When analyzing the images, various factors were taken into account that could somehow give out a fake, but everything looks really authentic. And that's it. You know,
Is that a Vimana?
I was thinking the exact same
Yeah,
thing. I was just
yeah.
going to say Vimana. It does look like that, as mentioned in the ancient texts of the Hindu.
Yeah.
The Vimanas were ancients, apparently piloted by the gods, according to the ancient
Right,
manuscripts.
right.
But there was great battles over India, and these flying craft went to war, shooting beams of energy and stuff at each other. So, yeah, I mean, when I'm thinking of a Vimana, that really does
Yeah.
look
The
like.
first time I looked at it, I went, I wonder, I'm going to mention that. So
Yep. No,
you
good
go.
call. A very good call. Huh. A Vimana. Yeah, that's very curious. Very curious indeed. And there it is in the distance, flying over the trees.
it's curious. Very curious.
That is the same image, isn't it? Yeah, that's the same tree. Yeah,
It's
very
in a
wild.
slightly different position in that picture.
It is, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's more close to the tree. Right next to it,
It's
and this one is a little higher and,
little higher,
and off.
yeah.
Yep. Could it be fake? Sure. It could be a flying disc made by somebody that's very well balanced. But
it could be an incense sensor.
it could be an incense burner.
Here, try this.
Yeah, they could sell it to a doctor for $40,000, claiming it produced genies.
Oh jeez. Oh god, that was so hilarious. Oh my gosh. A wish granting, genie bottle.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, they wrote books about that stuff. It must be something to it. Which, if you follow the lore, that would be the jinn, which we discuss here on the show from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it. I think it's actually looks like it's quite a distance away. So
Right.
I think that could be valid. Those could be actual photos of UFO. It kind of really does harken back to like the 50s.
Yeah.
Those pictures that people were grabbing back in the 50s were
Yep.
these flying discs. Yeah, very cool.
Jeez.
What?
Pharmacy says then people would be incensed. Oh no.
But they would also be smudged. Nothing. No tough crowd. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, they're kind of, you know.
Not even a pity laugh on that. Come on, folks. This ain't easy. All right. Well, that's an interesting article. You don't see those anymore. I didn't get a feeling of how old it was. Did you?
Uh-uh.
I didn't hear a date in that whole mess. Oh, wow. That's a beautiful fish. I'm just going to show this just because it's a beautiful fish, but it says fishermen in the Pacific Ocean fish like from the movie Avatar. How did they fish in Avatar? I don't remember them fishing. I'm going to put it up on screen.
I don't think it was necessarily fishing. I think it was just like maybe an underwater scene, maybe.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't seen Avatar 2 yet either. So.
No, nor have I. It's a beautiful fish, though. My God, that looks like a sculpture. Here's a video. I guess we could show a little bit of it. Let me turn off the sound. There's a lot of ads in this. Look at that fish. That's gorgeous.
It looks fake.
I can see the string.
It looks, yeah, you know, and
that
it's
looks
flopping.
real.
No, it doesn't.
It's a real fish.
No, I bet you if you crack that open, you'd find a solid chocolate inside.
That's probably. I don't know what they mean by like the movie Avatar, other than the fish looks like it belongs there. Let's see if your chocolate swims away, Don. Oh, look at that chocolate go, Don.
I just don't believe
Is this on the shore right around Hogwarts or something?
Yeah, it's near Fukushima.
Yeah, exactly. Like those chocolate frogs.
Yeah, somebody said it looks painted. Yeah, it looks painted.
It really
me.
does.
Yeah.
Wow. It turns out it belongs to the species Thalassoma cupido, but individuals of such a large size are rare. Usually they're no bigger than a palm.
Yeah, now read the next one.
Thalassoma cupido is a species of wrasse native to the northwestern Pacific Ocean, where it occurs from Japan to Taiwan.
From Japan to Taiwan.
Fukushima. It is an inhabitant of coral or rocky reefs and occurs at depths from 3 to 10 meters.
That's not so bad, yeah.
No, it's a reef fish. There you go. They're picking out the lures and stuff. So there you have it, folks. It does look like something out of the movie Avatar, but I don't think they used fishing poles in Avatar.
No.
Well, there you go, folks. I'm just sharing it with you because it was just such a striking fish.
They use Doritos.
They use Doritos.
Yeah, and they pull up mermaids and stuff.
Do you know that, what was it? Mermaids were supposed to be like serpent-like, though. Contrary. No, I'm thinking of sirens. Sirens were.
Yeah, well, sirens. Yeah. Well, sirens were split-tailed mermaids. That sounded bad.
No, it sounded fine.
So, but anyhow, let's just leave that there. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's continue on then. I'm going to go to the next batch of fun. And this is I mean, I think this would qualify for any of us. But let's see.
Oh my God.
Let's see if this, I don't think this is absolutely that bizarre, but this is from unexplained-mysteries.com, folks. And it says, man almost dies from allergy to the cold. I think I'm allergic to cold too. And I felt like I've almost died many times. But a 34-year-old man recently collapsed after suffering an allergic reaction to the cold following a shower.
Oh my God.
Wow, he's got an issue.
Wow.
While being suddenly exposed to very cold temperatures can be a shock to the system, at the best of times, for some people it can cause a severe allergic reaction that it can actually prove fatal. Wow. Cold urticaria is a rare allergic condition or reaction of the skin that can bring a sufferer out in hives upon exposure to either cold air or water. And in some extreme cases, it can even cause anaphylaxis, which causes the airways to narrow and can make breathing extremely difficult without treatment.
That's exactly me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is exactly what happened to a 34-year-old man in Colorado recently who steps out of the shower and when a rapid change in temperature brought his whole body out in hives and left him collapsed on the floor, struggling to draw breath. Fortunately, paramedics were quick to arrive at the scene and gave him epinephrine and oxygen while en route to the nearest hospital, where he was also given antihistamines and steroids. He has since made a full recovery. However, the incident emphasizes just how easily someone with the condition can succumb if they experience sudden exposure to the cold.
Wow.
Suffice it to say, his recent move from Micronesia to Colorado may not have been the best idea. Yeah, you might want to go home.
Wow.
Go back. You're going to die. You will die there, sir.
Oh, goodness. Micronesia, huh?
Yeah, that's a pretty warm place. I've never even heard of that, though.
Yeah.
That it could actually produce an allergic reaction.
Wow.
A histamine reaction is crazy. Just from temperature. That's insane. I've never heard of that. Wow. I learn something new on every show, ladies and gentlemen. Every show, I leave this show with some new piece of knowledge that doesn't really benefit me in any way, but
it's just more crap stuff in the brain pan.
yeah.
Wow.
It has no redeeming qualities whatsoever, but it is interesting. Yeah, what a bad move. You might want to sample that kind of thing out first before you move.
Yeah.
Or go down to, like, I don't know, the Key West and stay there. I mean, really.
Dang.
Where could you live in this country that you could be sure not to have that happen
In
again?
this country?
Yeah. I mean, nowhere, right?
Not really. I mean, maybe Florida.
Maybe Florida. Yeah, that's what I was saying, like Key West.
Key West, yeah.
Just get as south as you can.
Caribbean.
Yep. Heading to the Pirates. But yeah, that's very, very bizarre. All right. Let's see what happens. So I think this one's kind of, I don't know why they're asking this, but I'll bring it to the table.
I mentioned this a little earlier. It's a different story, but it's the same thing.
Same concept?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what this is. And this is, again, unexplained-mysteries.com. Were modern humans and Neanderthals at war? I think they probably were. War and conflict may have been an intrinsic part of the lives of our ancestors for over 100,000 years. Mm-hmm. Writing for the conversation, Nicholas R. Longrich, a senior lecturer in evolutionary biology and paleontology at the University of Bath, explores our violent and troubling history. Around 600,000 years ago, humanity split in two. One group stayed in Africa, evolving into us. The other struck out overland into Asia, then Europe, becoming Homo neanderthalis, the Neanderthals. And they weren't our ancestors, but a sister species, evolving in parallel. Neanderthals fascinate us because of what they tell us about ourselves. Who we were and who we might have become. It's tempting to see them in idyllic terms, living peacefully with nature and each other like Adam and Eve in the garden. If so, maybe humanity's ills, especially our territoriality, violence, wars, aren't innate but modern inventions. Biology and paleontology paint a darker picture. Far from peaceful, Neanderthals were likely skilled fighters and dangerous warriors, rivaled only by modern humans. Top predators. Predatory land animals are territorial, especially pack hunters. Like lions, wolves, and Homo sapiens, Neanderthals were cooperative big game hunters. These predators sitting atop the food chain have few predators of their own, so overpopulation drives conflict over hunting grounds. Neanderthals faced the same problem. If other species didn't control their numbers, conflict would have. This territoriality has deep roots in humans. Territorial conflicts are also intense. In our closest relatives, chimpanzees, male chimps routinely gang up and attack and kill males from rival bands, a behavior strikingly like human warfare. This implies that cooperative aggression evolved in the common ancestry of chimps and ourselves 7 million years ago. Well, that's not, I mean, lions are territorial and will attack other prides. Mm-hmm. That's kind of nature. That's not just in the primates. If so, Neanderthals will have inherited these same tendencies towards cooperative aggression. All too human. Warfare is an intrinsic part of being human. War isn't a modern invention, but an ancient fundamental part of humanity. Historically, all peoples warred. Our oldest writings are filled with war stories. Archaeology reveals ancient fortresses and battles and sites of prehistoric massacres going back millennia. To war is human, and Neanderthals were very like us. We're remarkably similar in our skull and skeletal anatomy and share 99.7% of our DNA. Behaviorally, Neanderthals were astonishingly like us. They made fire, buried their dead, fashioned jewelry from seashells, and animal teeth made artwork and stone shrines. If Neanderthals shared so many of our creative instincts, they probably shared many of our destructive instincts too. Okay. Well, I don't think this is news.
Not really. But
I've kind of always heard that we were competing with them, and I'm sure battling with them.
right.
I've heard that they were predatory to humans whenever we came out of Africa finally. So I guess that's not really news, but interesting all the same.
Bomber asks, this is titled Post-Election. May I ask who your president is? No, because we still don't know.
Yeah, we have no
We have
idea.
no clue.
We have no idea, and we're at the point now where it's even getting more confusing.
Yep.
Because now there's conspiracy, and now there's accusation, and the vitriol going back and forth is just nauseating, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hoping for that at least to make sense this year, but no. Why? It's 2020. Why would that make sense when nothing else does this year? So I guess no, there's no answers, no, not even a glimmer of knowing, because now there's lawsuits filed and, you know, back and forth, and it's going to be a mess for a while. I mean, maybe something will turn up, but it's not looking real good. All right.
Jordan, she says, I vote Sasquatch.
Yeah, well, I hear you. It's crazy. It's just I've been desperately trying to get my mind off of it, just because it really is making me almost nauseous. It's like, oh my God, now this too. Could anything be okay this year? But no, it's not likely. I don't know. It's just sad. It is sad, isn't it, Don?
Yes. No, do not vote for Kanye. I have to protest that one, Kylie.
Protest to Kanye vote.
Yeah.
No, I think that might work.
It's just as weird as anything
President
else.
West. Oh my God. Well,
Oh, wow. Yeah. So yeah, it's just all craziness. Anyhow,
all right. So how are we at the time? Because I got
we are 20 after 8, almost 25
Oh my God.
after 8.
How did we get here?
We kept talking.
We do keep talking.
This seems to be a problem of ours.
Okay, so here's something kind of interesting, and this gets more into the cryptozoology side of things, but it is an article by our wonderful friend Mr. Brent Swanser
yeah.
from MysteriousUniverse.org, and he has just done this as of November 4th, 2020. His new article is this: Bizarre Cases of Real Woolly Mammoth Sightings.
Sightings.
Yes, not just hyperbole and possibility, but actual sightings, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen some of the footage. Like there's a photo out of Russia that's purportedly looks like a woolly mammoth crossing a stream. I think that's just a mischaracterized bear. I think the bear has a big salmon in its mouth. And, if you look at the profile of a woolly mammoth and the profile of a brown bear, there's very similar with the absence of a trunk.
Right.
But with that fish in its mouth, it looks like a trunk.
Wow.
And so it really was a very compelling, is that a woolly mammoth? But I think it's just a grizzly or one of its relatives over in Russia that had caught a fish. And so I've also seen footage that are photos that were apparently taken on a road as they, down slope from the road was what looks like a woolly mammoth. Now, it's completely out of context, and it's hard to put into any kind of rationale or reasoning, but it's a pretty interesting picture nonetheless. So let's read this and see what Mr. Swanser found.
Aaron says the bear had junk in its trunk.
The bear's junk was the trunk.
Oh, no.
That's funny.
Oh, no. Anyhow.
All right.
What does Mr. Swanser have to say?
He says there's no other creature from prehistory other than the dinosaurs larger or more formidable than the majestic woolly mammoth. Mainly extant. He uses words that I don't even know.
Yeah.
Mainly extant during the Pleistocene epoch, which lasted from about 2,588,000 to 10,000 years ago. The woolly mammoth, Mammothus primigenius, was similar but slightly larger in size to the modern-day African elephant, but differed in that it was covered in shaggy hair, had smaller ears to minimize the effects of the cold, and in enormous tusks, which it used for fighting, foraging, and moving objects, very much like its modern elephant brethren. Although the mammoth declined considerably during the end of the Pleistocene, there were relic populations that are believed to have been still around up until perhaps 4,000 years ago, after which it is considered to have finally gone extinct. In recent times, there have been many discoveries of well-preserved skeletons, tusks, dung, stomach contents, and even full carcasses buried underneath the ice in both Siberia and Alaska. But even more intriguing are the numerous accounts of actually seeing alleged living specimens. Accounts of sightings of supposed woolly mammoths go way back in the book Mystery Creatures of China by David C. Zhu. There's an account from 579 AD in which one of the creatures was purportedly captured out in the wilds near Yanzhou, China. According to the report, hunters managed to catch alive what they called the Daizhang, meaning great elephant. It was described as truly massive, a gigantic elephant with long black hair. It was apparently kept in captivity for some time. It's unknown just what happened to the creature after that, but it is curious historical oddity. Wow, I had never heard of that. I love this guy. I mean, who the hell would find that out? He would.
Yeah.
And he'd write about it exhaustively. Man, this guy's good. And an early possible encounter with either woolly mammoths or a similar North American mastodon was reported by the English explorer David Ingram, who ventured out into the wilds of North America in the 1560s. During his travels, he took extensive detailed notes on the regional flora and fauna, as well as topographical and customs of the native peoples he encountered. These notes are mostly very accurate and even mundane by today's standards, but one account stands out from everything else. The explorer wrote of how he had seen hairy elephants roaming about, which is remarkable considering that there were no such indigenous animals in the region at the time, and also Ingram's notes were usually quite accurate and meticulous. And what were those creatures he saw? We may never know for sure. Well, I wonder if it could just be bison, that he saw them at a weird angle and maybe thought those are hairy elephants. Anyway, another very early account comes from Bernard Heuvelmann's epic book On the Track of Unknown Animals. In the 1580s, a Russian family called Stroganoffs? Oh, they made that dish probably. Beef stroganoff. Oh, God. My name is Beef Stroganoff. Nice to meet you, comrade. Oh. So,
I'm freaking dying.
Supposedly sent mercenaries led by Yermak, this name, whatever this name is, Trematiadovich, to hunt down some bandits in Siberia who were pillaging their salt mines of the region. And when they passed the Ural Mountains, Yermak claimed that they had come across what he said was a bizarre, large, hairy elephant. Lumbering through the wilds, natives of the area then confirmed that these creatures, although rare, were very real indeed and were sometimes hunted for their ivory and meat. Indeed, they were reportedly called by the natives mountains of meat.
Sounds like my kind of people.
Those were the Longbeard tribes. In the early 1880s, there were several reports of supposed surviving mammoths. In 1807, there was a report from the explorer David Thompson, who told of hearing from the natives of enormous elephant-like creatures stomping about the wilds of British Columbia, Canada. And natives said that the immense hairy creatures were rarely seen and that they slept while leaning against trees. Thompson would then find strange elephant-like tracks in 1811, which he believed would have been made by young mammoths, and in the end, Thompson would say of it all, "The circumstantial evidence for the existence of this animal is sufficient, but notwithstanding the many months the hunters have traversed this extent of country in all directions, and this animal having never been seen, there is no direct evidence of its existence. Yet when I think of all I have seen and heard, if put on my oath, I could never assert nor deny its existence. For many hundreds of miles in the Rocky Mountains are yet unknown, and through the defiles by which we pass, distant 120 miles from each other. We hasten our march as soon as possible. I don't even know what I just read. There are also accounts in Edinburgh magazine, supposedly made in 1803, in Western Canada, near a place called York Fort. The witness, Thomas Pollock, claimed to have been a sergeant with the Hudson Bay Company at the time, that he and his guide had come across quite the curious beast, while venturing out to make contact with native tribes. Pollock would say of what happened, "We left York Fort on the 19th of May, 1803. About fortnight after, having been sent across a river, the name of which I do not now recollect, by Mr. Lewis's orders, the guide and myself suddenly came upon animal of enormous size. It appeared about 20 feet in height and had a very heavy and unwieldy appearance. I can give but a very lame account of it, on the consternation into which I was thrown. The largeness of its belly was enormous, nearly touching the ground. Its color was a dirty black." Years later, in 1818, there was another account from the Rocky Mountains in the United States. The witness said that there were what seemed to be woolly mammoths wandering about the region, and would say of these mysterious creatures, "The fact of its existence rests upon the testimony of two different parties who had been sent some errand into the interior valleys of these mountains. The first party came suddenly upon the animal in a deep and formerly unvisited recess, and was so alarmed at the prodigious size exceeding that of the largest elephant, and as its unknown aspect, they were immediately retreated in great consternation to the encampment from which they had been dispatched. Another party was sent to the same spot to ascertain the fact, and though the animal has not observed, its footsteps could be distinctly traced, and each compartment of its hoof is stated to have admitted both the feet of the travelers. It ought to be observed that these parties were perfectly familiar with the disappearance of the buffalo, which indeed they were in the daily habit of killing, and that the animal which they saw cannot therefore be regarded as an individual of that tribe. It was seen too, as I have already stated, that in a very remote and central valley, that the intervals between its paces are described as having been of astonishing magnitude. Now we know well that the animals of immense size have inhabited the northern parts of our earth in former times, and the huge remains which are every day dug up are more likely to have belonged to individuals of such an animal, as that now alluded to, than any extinct species of a former world. Wow. In that same year, there was a similar experience by a Russian hunter who would finally relay the encounter decades later to M.L. Gallon of the French consulate in Vladivostok in Russia in 1920. The hunter said that he had found enormous elephantine footprints, and he was exploring out in the frigid, bleak taiga, and that he had then followed these tracks for several days. He would say of these tracks, I say huge tracks, for they were a long, way larger than any of those I had seen of other animals I knew well. It was autumn. There had been a few big snowstorms followed by heavy rain. It wasn't freezing yet. The snow had melted, and there were thick layers of mud in the clearings, and it was one of these clearings, partly taken up by a lake, that I was staggered to see a huge footprint pressed deep into the mud. It must have been about 70 centimeters across, the widest and at about 50 centimeters the other way. Wow. And that's to say the spoor wasn't round but oval. There were 4 tracks, the tracks of 4 feet, the first 2 about 4 meters from the second pair, which were a little bigger in size. 4 meters, that's what, like 3 times 12 feet? Wow. That's crazy. Then the track suddenly turned east and went into the forest of middling-sized elms. Where it went in, I saw a huge heap of dung. I had a good look at it and saw it was made up of vegetable matter. Some 10 feet up, just where the animal had gone into the forest, I saw a sort of row of broken branches made, I don't doubt, by the monster enormous head, as it's forced its way into the place where it had decided to go, regardless of what was in its path. He apparently followed the mysterious giant tracks for days and began to think that he would never find the source of them. Through all of this, the weather was getting harsher and more frigid, threatening to force him to abort his hunt, and then the tracks would appear and get fresher and fresher, giving him renewed resolve, and he would finally come across 2 apparent woolly mammoths. He would say of the ensuing bizarre encounter, "One afternoon, it was clear enough that from the tracks that the animals weren't far off. The wind was in my face, which was good for approaching them without them knowing I was there, and all of a sudden I saw one of the animals quite clearly. I now must admit I really was afraid. It had stopped among some young saplings, and it was a huge elephant with big white tusks, very curved. It was a dark chestnut color as far as I could see it. It had fairly long hair on the hindquarters, but it seemed much shorter on the front. I must say I had no idea that there were such big elephants. It had huge legs and moved very slowly. I've only seen elephants in pictures, but I must say that even from this distance, we were about 300 meters or 3,000 meters apart, I could never have believed any beast could be so big. The second beast was around. I saw it only a few times among the trees, and it seemed to be the same size. Wow. The hunter said that he had taken aim with his rifle, but as he only had 5 rounds left, was afraid he would anger the creatures rather than kill them. And so he made the decision to call off his hunt and leave the animals be. This particular account would be written of by the cryptozoologist Bernard Heuvelmans, who included it in his groundbreaking cryptozoology book, On the Tracks of Unknown Animals. Later in the 1800s, more such reports would come in. One was printed in a 1873 article, The Zoologist, which held the testimony of a former British prisoner, or Russian prisoner rather, named Cheriton Brachmaninjernik. That was the best I could do. Who said that he had managed to escape his prison camp in Siberia and make his way out into the frozen Badlands towards the Arden Mountains, and the goal of ultimately getting across to China and to freedom. It was in an isolated mountain valley where he claimed that he had made camp by a lake and noticed that at night there were hulking, lumbering beasts crashing about around his periphery. The frightened man allegedly shot his pistol off, and creatures rumbled off into the night. The following morning, he claimed to have examined the area to find large elephant-like tracks all over the place. Seeking to find a safer camp, Cheriton says he found a nearby cave, but that he approached it, he saw a gigantic hairy elephant covered with reddish matted hair and sporting enormous curving tusks around 10 feet long. He claimed that he would go on to see over 20 of the creatures grazing about the valley in the preceding days. Oddly enough, he also claimed to have seen a massive dragon-like beast that apparently lurked in a nearby lake and actually preyed on the mammoths. So make of that what you will.
Wow.
Yikes. On November 28th, 1896 edition of the Portland Press, there was a curious account of Colonel F. Fowler, who in the late 1800s resided in Alaska. When talking to a reporter, he related a tale about something he had seen out in the wilderness near the Snake River while traveling to an Inuit trading outpost. Once at the outpost, he claimed that he had purchased a load of what he thought was a fossilized mammoth ivory from a chief to Litima, and upon inspecting the tusks, Fowler claims that he had found fresh traces of blood and flesh upon them. When he asked the chief about it, Tulitima explained that the ivory had come from animals that had been killed just 3 months before, just about 50 miles away from where they were. According to the chief, the hunting party had run into a whole herd of mammoths and had managed to take down 2 of them. Fowler would explain the strange incident thus. He and his band were searching along a dry water course for ivory. He had found a considerable quantity. One of the party, who was in advance, rushed in on the main body, and one morning with the startling intelligence that at a spring of water about a mile above where they then were, he had discovered the sign of several of the Big Teeth. Oh, they call them Big Teeth. They had come to the spring to drink from a lofty plateau further inland, and had evidently fed in the vicinity of the water for some time. The chief immediately called about him his warriors, and the party, under the leadership of the scout, approached the stream. They had nearly reached it when their ears were suddenly saluted by a chorus of loud, shrill, trumpet-like calls, and an enormous creature came crashing toward them through the thicket, the ground fairly trembling beneath its ponderous footfalls. With wild cries of terror and dismay, the Indians fled, all but the chief and the scout, who had first discovered the trail of the monsters. They were armed with large-caliber muskets and stood their ground, opening fire on the mammoth. A bullet must have penetrated the creature's brain, for it staggered forward and fell dead, and subsequently, on their way back to the campground, they overhauled and killed a cow, Big Teeth, which was evidently the mate of the first one killed. I asked the hunter to describe the monster, and taking a sharp stick, he drew me a picture of the pale animal in the soft clay. According to his description, it was at least 20 feet in height and 30 feet in length. General shape, it was not unlike an elephant, but its ears were smaller, its eyes bigger, and its trunk longer and more slender. Its tusks were yellowish white in color and 6 in number. What, tusks? I don't know if that's the teeth or what. That's not the big long things, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. And 6 in number. 4 of these tusks were placed like those of a boar, one on either side in each jaw, and they were about 4 feet long and came to a sharp point. And the other 2 tusks he brought away, I measured them, and they were over 15 feet in length and weighed upwards of 250 pounds each. They gradually tapered to a sharp point and curved inward. The monster's body was covered with long, coarse hair and a reddish dun color. In October 1899, there was a strange article called Killing the Mammoth, published in McClure magazine, written by a Henry Turkman. The article discussed the supposed killing of the last mammoth, which had apparently happened in 1890 out on the frigid wilderness of Alaska. Turkman claimed that he had been staying at Fort Yukon for the winter, and at some point he was showing some pictures of African animals to the native Inuit, which one of them saw a picture of the elephant, and they all became excited and agitated. One villager called Joe said he had seen such a creature recently not far away, which was odd since there should not have been any elephants around for thousands of miles. Mm-hmm. Joe claimed that he had seen the creature, which he called the Tikai Koa, which, while out hunting for beaver with his son some years before, and when they came across the massive creature, apparently bathing in a lake, the son then promptly shot at it, but the creature was only angered by this, and they retreated. This was all very intriguing to Tuscamen, who reported this as a sighting of a possible living woolly mammoth, and made plans to actually go up into the forbidding winter, after the forbidding winter had passed, to investigate the area for the sighting. Wow. This is a long article.
It is.
Oof, I'm almost there. When summer came up and the snows melted, Turkmen supposedly went out into the rough wilds with an Inuit guide and finally found what they were looking for after spending over a month camping out in wait. At one point, he set up a fire under the impression that the mammoth would emerge to try and stamp it out. And unbelievably, this seemed to work. The mammoth allegedly came out of the trees to proceed to try and stomp out the fire. And at that point, the 2 hunters opened fire until the mighty beast fell. They then went about skinning the colossal animal and collecting its bones and making various measurements, but the coming onset of winter meant they were forced to hunker down with their trophy until the spring. Wow. According to Tukaman, he finally did manage to sell the bones and remains of his kill to the Smithsonian. There you go, where they allegedly kept them under wraps. Although the story was subsequently widely reported on in many publications of the time, it is thought to have been most likely a hoax. And the Smithsonian itself has denied the claims, of course. But it's still bandled. But it is still bandled about as the possibly true event.
Bandied.
Bandied? Oh yeah, bandied. Sorry, bandied about as a possible true event. For his part, Fowler continued to claim that the whole tale was true, even going as far as to say that the government knew these creatures were still alive. Accounts go on into later years as well. From 1922, we have a report from the Evenk people of northeastern Siberia, who at the time claimed that they had frequently sighted the hulking beasts and were even in the possession of a well-preserved mammoth skins. The Evenks were able to describe in detail the appearance of the creatures, which was very much like a mammoth, as well as their behavior, movements, and even their eating habits, and their preferred diet. In later years, there were some reports of pilots seeing herds of mammoth wandering in single file about the frozen wastes of Alaska and Russia. And in 1956, there was a report from a village near Russia's Taz River where a school teacher had spotted a mammoth while out picking mushrooms. Even more recently, there was a report from 1989 in which a hunter in Siberia said he saw 2 groups of 3 mammoths apiece, and in 1998, report from a group of gold prospectors who saw a herd of the animals in uncharted wilderness at a tributary of the Indrika River, Indigirka River. A chance that this long-forgotten behemoth still roams in the wilds of the world? Is there a chance? Could they have possibly escaped extinction? There is no way to really know, and such accounts float about amongst the many others of supposedly extinct creatures that may or may not still roam the wilds of our planet. Wow. Man, that guy can reference and dig, man.
Yes, he can.
I can't believe the amount of information he pulls.
He is an incredible researcher.
Yeah. Again, Brent Swanser, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him online on Facebook. And of course, he's a wonderful guy, but you can find his work all over mysteriousuniverse.org. And they also have many other contributors that are fantastic as well. But mysteriousuniverse.org is a great site if you're looking for some weird stuff to read about.
You know, that story mentioned David Thompson.
Okay.
David Thompson is also the one who mapped most of the area that we are in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came down through BC across east and then down through Idaho, and mapped pretty much almost this whole north part of the state.
Wow.
Yeah.
That man was busy.
He was
busy.
So
that's really cool, though. Special thanks, of course, to Brent Swanser for letting us read his stories. All right, let's get to a phone call. Let's see what's going on. This is area code 586. You're on the air.
Hello, this is James Salcido again.
Hey, James. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I want to thank you again for having me on the podcast a little while back.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming on, brother. It was a great talk and a great show. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah. Not too much. I just want to thank you for that. And I thought I could share a little more about my apartment if you wanted.
Sure, yeah.
If you're looking for more ghost stuff.
Always are. You mean right now, or you mean in another podcast?
Well, both. But yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's see. We got about 11 minutes left of the show tonight. If you want to talk to us about something that'll take about 11 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, I can do that.
Okay.
I was just going to bring up my front door of my apartment.
Okay.
Sometimes will unlock or lock itself on its own.
Yikes. Do you regularly carry your keys with you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Luckily, it hasn't happened when I've been out. It always seems to happen when I'm in the apartment, which is weird too.
Well, that is, yeah. That is pretty intense. Wow.
Yeah, and that for a long time I wasn't sure if I was just forgetting, and locking or unlocking it, or however. So I can forget things, but there was one weekend where I had company coming over, and I had taken out the garbage, and I left the door unlocked when I got back in, so that they could just come in once they got there.
Sure.
And when they knocked on the door, I said, "Come in." Well, they couldn't come in because it was locked. So.
Wow, that's intense, brother. That's really intense. You've had a lot of activity. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear a lot more of James's stories, you got to check out the podcast episode. that I did with him, and it was a great show. It was a lot of really intense stuff going on. But is it still pretty active?
It happens. Little things happen here and there. Not too much anymore. Just little things here and there. The door. Sometimes I'll hear like the kitchen cupboard doors open and close, and just one. It'll just be one door, and I'll hear it kind of close again.
Oh wow!
And I used to always think it was my cat, but there was one time when I literally said out loud, Logan, which is my cat. I told her to stop it, and I looked out, and she was right next to me, and I just heard the sound.
Oops.
So
yeah, that's intense.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, James, I felt kind of bad because I didn't do a lot of as much promotion there as I wanted to regarding your books. But can you let people know about your books?
Oh yeah. Well, if you go to Amazon.com and look for my name, James Salcido, Salsido, you'll be able to find everything there. I have a couple of novels and a couple of nonfiction paranormal books.
Awesome.
And I also have a podcast now. So,
ooh, when did you start?
That just launched last Saturday.
Oh, good. How'd it go?
So, it was good. I was really happy with that it came out and everything, and I'll be releasing at least once a month to start with, and then go from there.
Good for you.
And the first 2 episodes are already up. So
fantastic, brother. That's great. No, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, man.
Yep, and that's.
Oh, go ahead. So
yeah, and that's under Salcido Paranormal. So
Salcido Paranormal.
Just look up that online.
Do you know what platforms you're on for the podcast?
Yeah, right now I'm just on Podbean.
Okay, that's great.
So, but more are coming.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah, keep us posted about that for sure. And thank you so much for being on the podcast. And yeah, we can definitely talk to you again and go through some more of your experiences. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, James. Thanks for reaching out. It's a pleasure to hear from you, and you have a wonderful night.
You too. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.
Wow.
That's been there was one other article that I want to go through, but there's no way we got enough time for that because I don't think it's necessarily a huge article, but it's just got a lot of discussion points. I don't want to burn it all up on a 5-minute run.
Yeah, you could use it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I guess I could. It's the Night Terrors tomorrow night, but I guess we could do some paranormal experiences that defy explanation. That would be probably a nice change, actually.
I don't know why do people want to dress Dawn's beard up?
You're like the Paranormal Portal version of a Barbie.
Apparently so, because Kylie says Dawn would look so cute with the little bow in his beard.
Ooh, yeesh, that actually gives me creeps out.
Yeah,
that kind of creeps me out.
Boy,
I don't know. I guess we could, you have.
I have my beard beads, yes.
Yeah, you got beard beads.
I have my dragons, and yeah.
Right, he's got all this tough stuff to put in there, which is pretty cool. How about the Christmas lights? You were going to though.
No, I was not.
You weren't?
I know, and I never will. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Bomber. Thank you. Gosh.
What did she say?
Hold on, let me back up.
Oh, he needs a Viking
Bomber
skull.
says, I think he needs Viking skull beads. Yes. Well, I was actually looking into Viking skull beads.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Oh. But, my dragon beads won. So, my dragon beads and runes. So.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, however your beard is, Don, we love it just the way it is.
My beard is just fine, thank you.
Just fantastically.
No twinkling lights.
Twinkling lights are going to be kind of cute, though.
No.
You could put a Grinch in there if you want.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think that's about our show tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope.
Things are getting weird up in here.
Well, it's just 2020. It's just 2020, Don. Everything's weird, but I hope for a little while you had a good time and you just forgot about everything stupid going on in the world. I know I did. I forgot all about it for a while, and it feels like like I took a cleansing breath.
Breath
now.
of fresh air.
Oh yeah, this is what it's like. Yeah.
Oh, gracious.
But I hope you guys are doing great, and thank you all for being here with us. As always, please spread the word, share the words. If you enjoy the shows, please feel free to share them on your social media. You don't need our permission. Just let people know about the portal. That would be a great thing to do to help us out.
Right.
Liking the stream, subscribing is important, and definitely goes a long way into helping us establish our presence in this cacophony of voices out here on the World Wide Webs. So,
speaking of voices, wasn't Kylie the one that told the story about the, excuse me, the Empress and Victoria?
that's the one.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we had a great talk, and her podcast is live right now. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
it's a
listening to those.
Great episode, and she's a wonderful person. We had a lot of fun, and you know, I gotta say I've loved doing the podcasts and getting a chance to talk to all of you people who are experiencing stuff. To me, that's just a blast. There's no better place to hear experiences than from those experiencing them. And it's a great opportunity for me to ask questions and to learn more. And thank you to everyone who has taken up that invitation to join me on the podcast.
Awesome.
And if any of you have experiences that you'd like to share, whatever category, UFO, Bigfoots, ghosts, just weird stuff, you know, I'd like to hear from you. So by all means, reach out to me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And I'd love to have a chat with you as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but that's what we got tonight. Don, you got anything in closing?
Nope. Well, I did, but now I forgot it. Oh, I got those for those people who won on
Halloween.
I have those ordered. They should be in about 2 weeks, and we'll get them right out to you as soon as we can.
That's right. So all of you winners, just hang on. We're getting those things to you as quickly as possible.
Right.
But it is kind of a drawn-out experience because we have to order them, getting them in, and repackage them and send them out to you. So that's the only system we have currently for this. So that's what we do. But anyway, I guess that's all I got. I hope you guys are doing great. Have a wonderful night. Heather, hello. Always Brent, night all. Thanks, Brent. You're wonderful too. Aw, thank you, Kylie. Yeah, it was a great talk. It was a lot of fun. And if you got more, Kylie, I'm waiting to hear from you. She will. It won't be long. Trust me. She'll have more.
Yeah. So if you want to know what he's referring to, you've got to tune into the podcast.
Yes.
Which has been dropped several times in chat, and of course will probably be in the show notes as well. But I was listening to it, and I was like, "Wow, all this weird stuff." The story of the couch and the pillow.
Yes, that's creepy.
That's
like a sanctified by blood or
wow.
Blood ritual.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepiness in there, but you know, she's a real trooper and managed to get through all of that.
Definitely.
So that's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, and it was a great episode. So I know because I edited it.
Don edits all of them. For the most part.
I've missed a couple.
That's okay.
I admit it.
I'm happy to pick up that slack.
Nice.
But anyway, guys, that's all we got.
It's hard to tote this beard around some days.
He's got like a quantum drag to it.
He's like,
it's a force. It's a force of the universe, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Okay, well, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Night Terrors, and then on Friday night show, Chris Dawson of
IBRO.
Yes, well, I was thinking of Contemporary Digital Media.
Oh, yes.
And IBRO is going to be joining me on Friday night to talk about a bunch of other experiences he's had. So that should be a good discussion as well.
Great,
yeah. And Chris is such a nice guy. So we're going to be talking to him on Friday night here on the show, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're new to the show, we do the shows Wednesday night through Sunday night, and they begin at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and they go for as long as they go. Like the Night Terrors are 2-hour shows or 1-hour shows,
right?
But Wednesday, Friday, Saturday are 2-hour shows. So if you want to tune in and be a part of those, thank you so much. Please do get subscribed, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we're going live here. But other than that, check out the podcasts on any of the major platforms, and those are different. YouTube is not the same as podcast.
Not the same thing. They've got different content.
Yep, they're different shows completely for the most part. Very rarely do we port a YouTube show over for the podcast. It does happen, but very rarely. So the podcast is all different interviews and discussions, and we hope you'll check those out too. And you can find it everywhere: Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Play.
Yeah, just Google
Stitcher.
Paranormal Portal podcast, and you'll find us.
You'll find us.
Find us.
So we're out there, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, that's all we got for tonight. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. especially in all this madness.
Oh gosh.
God, the world needs kindness and beauty because it's such a freaking mess. So spread that love, folks. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to smile and laugh as much as you can, folks. All right. Love you guys. Have a great night.
Good night.